Hello and welcome to tonight's CLNS Media Patriots Roundtable. I'm your host, Nick Qualley, sitting here with Marv and with Mike Molyneux. So the Patriots, they fell into some money. They've settled some grievances, and now some cap space has opened up. So a generally big story about the Patriots this offseason, aside from the entire quarterback situation, has been how little cap room they had. They had the smallest amount of cap room in the NFL at one point. Now it is bumped up to $7.79 million. And the way they got to that number was by settling a grievance with Antonio Brown. $4 million went to the team. And then settling a grievance with one Aaron Hernandez for $2.55 million back to the team. And I was talking to Evan Lazar, CLNS Media, Patriot supporter, and he said that they gave Hernandez bonus money right before he got arrested. So that is where this money, I guess, is coming from, unless I read that wrong. So, guys, now the Patriots have a decent chunk of cap space to play around with, and there are some decent free agents that are still looking for jobs. So the question is, who should the Patriots go after? Do you want the Patriots to go after anybody with this now available $7.79 million in cap space? Marv, let's start with you. Give me a name or two. Who do you think?
Obviously, the big name everyone's talking about is Jadeveon Clowney, and for some odd reason, he is still out there. There are some reports that Seattle Seahawks are going to finalize something with Clowney, but it still hasn't happened yet. He's still floating around, and if you watch the Patriots, you know how the Patriots move. No one would be shocked if Clowney ends up to become a Patriot. It'll go down as another classic Bill Belichick move. However, I still don't think the money is enough to pay for a guy in Clowney's caliber. This is a guy who's 27 years old. You want to lock up long term to be, someone who can be a catalyst in your defense for a while. And I don't think the Patriots have the money currently for that right now. I've seen other rumors, reports talking about a guy like Terrell Pryor, try to bring him in. He's someone who won't cost a lot of money, and he's shown flashes. He has shown flashes to be, a decent wide receiver, and we know he can do other things on the field, maybe be in the backfield. We know he can throw a little bit. So I wouldn't mind seeing a guy like a Terrell Pryor on the field who won't cost too much money, and it's low risk. See what he can bring to you. If not, save that money. The money's going to go into bonuses. You need to clear up more space for next year and the years after that. That's what the mission is right now. Stay afloat this year and be able to create more cap space moving forward. You save that money and continue moving forward. Other than that, I wouldn't go for a big guy like Jadeveon Clowney. If you want to take a shot at a guy like Terrell Pryor, I heard Percy Harvin wants to make a comeback. Try those guys out and see what you can do on the offense, but no big names this free agents.
Percy Harvin, every single year, I would find him, even if I didn't draft him, he'd end up on my fantasy team, and I'd get like a point or two every week. He would disappoint me every single week.
Electric. People forget how electric Percy Harvin was. Like, that was one of my favorite players. Just to see, at any moment when he gets the ball, he can be gone. Obviously, he's a lot older now. I don't know what he has in the tank. You obviously would have to do your
due diligence. Gonna pull a hamstring now.
Percy Harvin was electric, even if it was for only 3 games a season.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sometimes. So that's probably why I would end up getting him. I mean, it was I don't remember exactly. I mean, it was a few seasons ago, but that's probably why I would end up getting him. He would have an explosive game. I'd get him, and then it would just be disappointment after disappointment. In Clowney, obviously, that's the big name that we all want to talk about. And I'm probably going to talk about him a little bit more once it comes to me. But Clowney had a down season last year. And I know he's looking for a big contract, but he had a down season. Only 3 sacks last year. And, I mean, let's call it for what it is. He's been good, but I feel like the expectations for Clowney once he came into this league, especially when that viral video went out where he smoked the running back in the backfield in college, I think the expectation for him was a lot bigger and the ceiling was supposed to be a lot higher, and he hasn't really produced to that point yet. So I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to get back into that once we get to my turn. Mike, give me a name. Who do you want the Patriots to go after now with this freed up cap space if you want them to go after anybody?
I mean, obviously you guys both were just talking about Jadeveon Clowney, and I personally believe that guy is a monster. Even though his stats may not show that, I believe that put in the right situation with the right team and, the motivation is there, he can be very successful. But a guy who I would love to see the Patriots go after with the money that they have, and I'm talking about a guy who is here already, who I'd love to see come back and try to handle some unfinished business, and that's Antonio Brown. Somebody who probably is not going to take a lot of money because he's in a situation where he just needs to get on a team to prove something. And right now, the Patriots are in this kind of let's prove the league wrong.
I can't do it again.
I
can't go through that heartache again. I can't watch it.
Hear me out. Before Cam Newton, it was just the Patriots who need to prove, okay, they moved on from Tom Brady. We still need to prove that we're, the New England Patriots, we can be successful. You bring in Cam Newton. Here's a guy who has all the motivation in the world. He wants to prove the team wrong, prove other teams wrong that passed up on him, that he has a lot to prove. He's still one of the top guys and whatnot. So you pair those two together. Now, if you were to add Antonio Brown into the mix, here's a guy who knows for a fact he needs to right a lot of wrongs in this league, prove a lot of people wrong, silence the doubters out there. And it seems to me that Cam Newton has done a good job at trying to build some kind of chemistry so far with his new teammates. I mean, Sanu, he's already been working out with Sanu. He's already been working out with N'Keal Harry. I'm sure he's probably had some kind of communication, in my assumption, with the Julian Edelman. You bring Antonio Brown, and that's one thing we've always said about this Patriots offense. They just need another weapon. They got solid guys now, but they need another weapon. Antonio Brown. You've seen Belichick. He's good for bringing in guys who are kicked to the curb and look like they're left out for dead. Here's a guy who's been in the system, and in his one game in New England, he showed what he's capable of. Obviously, he had a lot of other stuff going on at the time, but from everything that I've read and heard and seen from him right now, he's in a better place mentally, supposedly. Sure, he looks like and sounds like he's just ready to get back to football. Use some of that money and give him a chance with the full season, with the hungry Cam Newton, with the hungry New England Patriots team, Belichick, McDaniels, everybody. I say with that cap space that they have now, give some to Antonio Brown and see what you can get out of 2020. Maybe Antonio Brown won't be back after this year. Maybe Cam Newton won't be back after this year. But 2020 is the season ahead of you right now, and you want to be as successful as possible in that year. Get all the pieces you can, and I think Antonio Brown can be a huge part that you can add to this team.
Listen, I think it's pretty difficult to come back to a team after you take a dig at the owner for his massage parlor mishap. I think
he's apologized, man. He's remorseful and sorry.
Then it comes down to craft, and I just don't see it happening.
I would love it. I mean, you brought up the Miami game last year. Antonio Brown shows up for one game, and he is electric. He was awesome in that one game. But the guy's a maniac. You never know what he's going to do. You don't know if he's going to. He could show up here again this year if the Patriots were to do this. And then who knows what happens 2-3 weeks in. The guy's a loose cannon. He's wildly talented. When he's in the league, I think he's the best wide receiver in the league. But you just don't know what he's going to do or say. My guy, not as big of a name. Everson Griffin, Minnesota, pass rusher, 33 years old. He was good last year for 8 sacks, 11 tackles. 11 tackles for a loss in 15 games. You know what Bill Belichick loves to do. He loves to add veteran pieces, especially on the defensive side of the ball. This guy would be cheap. I can't imagine he would really put too much of a dent even in that $7.79 million cap hit. So I think he would be a strong, solid fit for the Patriots because, again, it wouldn't hurt them to add some depth on that side of the ball, especially in the linebacking core where you lost. And I know he's not necessarily a middle linebacker. He's not a middle linebacker. But you lose a guy like Atlanta Roberts. You lose Kyle Van Noy. So adding another veteran presence on that side of the football, especially on the pass rusher side of things, I think would be very beneficial for the Patriots. Again, he would not even be that – he wouldn't really be any cap hit, I would assume. Another name, toss around. He's got a wild injury history, a lot of concussions. I don't hate the idea of just throwing a small, tiny, itty-bitty contract to Jordan Reed.
No, he's not going to make it.
No, he shouldn't play football. He should not play football anymore. He's had way too many concussions. But
Let it
I
go.
mean, guys, he's so good when he's healthy.
He's not gonna make it a season, Nick. It's not happening.
Time you saw Jordan Reed healthy, Nick.
Yeah, I know. Another guy who screwed me in fantasy football because he's so good. And then he gets hurt, and I want to believe that he'll be fine. But just like a little tiny contract. Just, here you go, Jordan. Drop it in there. Bill, come on. Boop, give him a shot. Although they've got two young tight ends who everybody seems very hyped up for. But much like a lot of things with the Patriots team going into 2020, not too much information. It's a bunch of question marks jumping around here.
Jordan Reed is one bad hit away from his career ending, and I don't want that storyline to be with the New England Patriots.
His career already might be over. I don't think he should be playing football. But if he's going to play football, wouldn't mind giving him a shot.
Let it go, Jordan Reed, man. Listen to us. Let it go. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that your career ended up like that, but let it go. We don't need to see you get another concussion. We got to give you the Wes Welker treatment and just say it's over.
For health reasons, you guys are absolutely right. The guy should not be playing football anymore. But you also can't force the guy out unless no team sign him. So if he does want to play football still, Patriots wouldn't mind giving him that tiny shot. But again, health-wise, probably shouldn't do it.